The afternoon light entered the pottery studio in long, slow bands. It slipped through the open shutters and rested on the wooden floorboards, on the low shelf, and on the quiet grey fur of Pip the cat. The air held the dry scent of earth and the faint mineral sweetness of clay. Outside, a calm green field stretched toward the low horizon, and the distant hush of grass moved like a soft breath. Anya sat at her wheel in the center of the room. Her hands were already dusted with a fine film of clay that felt cool and powdery against her skin. Pip lay curled on a folded cloth near the base of the bench, his sides rising and falling in the unhurried rhythm of sleep. The wheel hummed with a low, steady note, no louder than a contented sigh. Anya pressed her palms against a lump of soft clay and felt it yield beneath the gentle pressure. She turned the wheel more slowly still, letting the clay rise under her steady palms into a low, open shape. The honeyed light of the golden hour touched the wet surface and made it shine like quiet water. Faint bird calls drifted in from the field, spaced far apart, each one soft and rounded. Anya breathed with the same slow pace as the wheel. She pressed her thumbs into the center of the clay and drew the walls upward with patient circles. The clay answered her touch without resistance, cool and smooth and full of the memory of earth. Pip shifted once on his cloth, a small grey rearrangement of paws and tail, then settled again. The shutters framed the green field where the grass moved in long, easy waves. Anya continued shaping, her shoulders relaxed, her breath even. The newest bowl took form beneath her hands, its walls rising evenly at first, its rim growing round and open to the warm air. She slowed the wheel further and let her fingertips travel the outer curve, feeling for balance and thickness. The honeyed light rested on her wrists and on the damp clay alike. After a time she lifted her hands away and allowed the wheel to come to rest. She reached for the thin wire and passed it carefully beneath the base, freeing the bowl from the bat. With both palms she raised the vessel and carried it to the wooden shelf that ran along the sunlit wall. There she set it down among the quiet company of earlier pieces. As the surface of the newest bowl began to firm in the open air, Anya noticed that it leaned a little to one side. The lean was gentle, no more than a soft inclination, as if the clay had decided to rest its weight slightly off-center. She stood before the shelf and regarded the bowl for a long moment. The honeyed light touched the leaning side and made a quiet crescent of brightness along the curve. Anya dipped one fingertip into a nearby bowl of cool water. The water felt clean and light against her skin. She returned to the shelf and, with the wet fingertip, smoothed the rim of the newest bowl in slow, patient circles. She moved without hurry, following the round edge again and again, coaxing the clay toward evenness. The cool water left a thin, shining trail that dried almost at once in the warm air. Yet when she stepped back, the gentle lean remained. It had not grown or lessened, it simply stayed, quiet and unremarkable. Anya wiped her fingertip on a soft cloth and let her hands fall to her sides. She felt no sharp disappointment, only a mild and open curiosity, as if the bowl had spoken a small truth in its own language of clay. She turned from the shelf and walked back to the wheel. The dry scent of earth rose around her once more. Pip lifted his head a fraction, eyes half open, then lowered it again onto his paws. Anya took a fresh lump of clay from the covered board beside her. She weighed it lightly in her palms, feeling its cool density, its readiness. She centered it on the wheel with slow presses of her thumbs and the heels of her hands. The wheel began its soft hum again, lower than before, almost a murmur. The honeyed light had shifted a little farther across the floor, lengthening the bands of gold. Anya opened the clay with steady fingers and drew the walls upward once more. This time she paid close attention to the pressure of each palm, to the even rise of the rim, to the balanced thickness of the base. The clay moved obediently beneath her touch. Outside, another faint bird call sounded, then faded into the hush of grass. Anya continued for a long while, turning the wheel so slowly that the motion felt almost still. She refined the curve of the second bowl with the pads of her fingers, smoothing any small ridges, rounding the lip until it felt continuous and calm. When the shape pleased her, she stopped the wheel and freed the vessel with the wire. She carried the second bowl to the shelf and placed it beside the first. Both vessels sat together in the honeyed light, one leaning softly, one resting more evenly. Anya stood before them and watched. The lean of the first bowl caught the light in a kindly way, holding a warmer glow along its lower curve, while the upright bowl reflected a clearer, straighter band. The two shapes seemed companionable, neither diminished by the other. The dry scent of clay mingled with the faint sweetness of the afternoon air that drifted through the shutters. Anya reached out and touched the rim of each bowl in turn, feeling the firmness that had begun to set into the surface. The leaning bowl felt no less sturdy beneath her fingertips. She smiled a small, private smile that asked nothing and expected nothing. Then she turned to the basin and rinsed her hands in clean water. The clay washed away in soft grey clouds that swirled and settled. She dried her palms on a linen towel that hung from a wooden peg, the cloth rough and familiar against her skin. Pip watched her with half-lidded eyes as she crossed the room to the low bench near his folded cloth. Anya settled onto the bench with the same unhurried motion she used at the wheel. The wood was warm from the long afternoon sun. She arranged her skirt and rested her hands lightly in her lap. Pip rose, stretched one grey foreleg and then the other, and stepped onto the bench beside her. He circled once and lay down against the curve of her thigh, his body a quiet weight of fur and breath. Anya rested one hand on his back, feeling the slow rise and fall of his breathing. Together they looked toward the open shutters. The green field beyond held the last of the golden hour, the grass stirring in long, easy waves that made almost no sound. The distant hush of grass arrived like a lullaby spoken too softly to pass into words. The honeyed light inside the studio had grown softer still, gilding the edges of the two bowls on the shelf. Anya watched how the soft lean continued to gather that light, holding it in a gentle pool that seemed to welcome the eye rather than demand it. The even bowl sat nearby, clear and steady, a quiet counterpoint. Both belonged. The wheel stood silent now, its surface damp and cooling. The air still carried the mineral scent of clay and the warmer note of sun-baked wood. Anya felt the quiet warmth of the studio gather around her shoulders and around the small grey shape of Pip. She listened to the faint bird calls that came less often now, spaced by longer intervals of peace. Evening began to gather at the edges of the field, softening the green into a deeper calm. Anya did not rise. She remained on the low bench with Pip, her hand resting lightly on his fur, her gaze resting on the two bowls that shared the shelf. The leaning bowl continued to catch the last of the honeyed light in its kindly way, and the sight felt complete. The studio held its quiet warmth around them as the light faded by slow degrees. Outside, the grass kept its distant hush, and the day settled without urgency into rest. Anya stayed seated a little longer, feeling the gentle weight of Pip against her side and the residual coolness of clay beneath her fingernails. She thought of the patient circles she had made with her wet fingertip, how the lean had remained, and how that remaining had become something soft rather than unfinished. The second bowl had formed more evenly because she had carried the first lesson forward without force. Both vessels rested now in the same honeyed light, each true to its own quiet nature. Pip purred once, a low vibration that traveled through her hand and into the stillness of the room. Anya matched her breathing to that small sound. The shutters framed a field that had grown quieter still, the green deepening as the golden hour eased toward dusk. No need remained to straighten or correct. The soft lean simply was, and the light found it beautiful in its own unhurried fashion. Anya closed her eyes for a moment and felt the studio's warmth enclose her like a familiar blanket. When she opened them again, the bowls were still there, companionable and calm. She gave Pip a final slow stroke along his back, then let her hand rest once more in her lap. The distant hush of grass continued, steady as a heartbeat heard from far away. Evening gathered fully, and the honeyed light withdrew by degrees until only a gentle glow remained on the wooden shelf. The two bowls kept their places side by side, the lean and the even, both held by the quiet warmth of the room. Anya and Pip remained together on the low bench, listening, breathing, resting. The day had shaped itself around them with the same patient palms that shaped clay, and now it released them into peace. Nothing hurried. Nothing needed mending. The studio simply held them as the last light faded and the calm green field outside surrendered to the soft arrival of night. The quiet warmth of the studio lingered around Anya and Pip as they rested together in the gentle dark.